Hi, my name's Neil. Welcome to Retro for You. Today we're working on this. We're going to kick up a storm in the A600. So join me after a short word about my sponsor and we'll crack on with this. PCBWay, the website that does it all. So visit PCBWay.com. And without these guys, my channel would not be where it is today. They do boards as little as $5 for 10 pieces. Absolutely amazing. But only that, they do CNC machining, 3D printing, real-time fabrication. They do everything here. But my most favourite place of all of these guys is this one here, the shared projects. Now if you go here, there is everything if you want to build anything. If you're bored at the weekend, pop along to the projects page here. There is absolutely loads of projects for anything you want. These are just some of them here. It's like little diggers, there's robots, there's Arduino Uno shield for two transparent potentiometers, there's all sorts. Fuzz pedal with optional optic fuzz, whatever one of them is, and anything you want you'll find here. Lots of retro projects which I absolutely love. Get your boards ordered from PCBWay and get those projects built. Hello, welcome. Today we're working on this, the Amiga 600. Now, I know it looks a bit rough and there's bits of wires stuck out and stuff we need to repair, but we're going to get that sorted today. And also we're going to do some upgrades to this. These upgrades I bought a while back. I mean, I bought this 600 a few years back and I never repaired it, but I actually got it working the other weekend. I was just tinkering around in the shed and I managed to get it working. You can see behind me, I don't know if you can over the shoulder, there's a Macintosh that'll be coming out in a video soon. I've started looking at it, but we're not quite there yet. So I've started filming it, etc. So there will be a Macintosh video coming up as well. There's been quite a few Amiga stuff recently, but that's the way it's going at the moment. I've got even more Amiga stuff on the way. So if you like Amiga stuff, thumbs up to you. So we'll just put this out of the way and we'll crack on with one of the mods. So this is the first mod we're going to be fitting. It's a PISTORM 600. Now, there's loads of videos out there on PISTORM 600s, etc. But I'd never done one, and this is my first PISTORM I've fitted. Basically, what these do is this socket here clips on the CPU, and then a Raspberry Pi slots into here, which then emulates the 68000, but at increased speed. Apparently very, very fast. And it also emulates an RTG graphics card as well, which allows you to run a different operating system through the HDMI, etc. So all in all, it's good. Not only that as well, it gives you loads more memory as well. So it's running as an accelerator basically for the Amiga, but a lot cheaper price. So I ordered this when it first came out. It's actually on pre-orders on the waiting list. It came and I never fitted it. It's just been sat in a drawer because my 600 never worked and I didn't get around to fixing it. So today we're going to fit this and I'm going to let you know how we get on with this. So the first thing we need to do is to get a Pi. Now you can fit this Pi here, which is the 3B. And to make this fit, you have to take these USB ports off. Now, which I did here, but then I decided against it because it looked a bit too big. So what I did was I went ahead and purchased this. Now this is a 02W, which apparently is nearly as fast as a Pi 3, which should be plenty fast enough for the Amiga. Now I've got the header here we need to fit, and there's a Pi, but you can see there's quite a substantial size difference there, and in this case size does really matter. So what we're going to do first is join me and we will solder this header onto the Pi and get it all ready to go. So what we need now is the Kraken. Now this again is thanks to PCBWay, so thank you guys. Without PCBWay, I mean this channel won't be the channel it is. They provided me with so much stuff, it's unbelievable guys. So I did try it in a board holder, but unfortunately it wouldn't hold due to this little socket here. I couldn't get it to hold in place, so let's ask the friendly Kraken to hold it for us. So there he is. He's holding the board nice and straight for us. Now all we need to do now we'll just zoom into that a minute. So hopefully you can see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some blue tack, or Smurf poo as people normally call it. And we're just going to roll that up a bit and insert this here socket, or header, sorry. Insert this here header, and then we'll just blue tack it on each side, just to hold it in place. What we need to do now is to revolve that board around, just like so. You can see the blue tack's holding it all in place. And all we need to do now is get under the microscope, get it soldered up, and just listen to some music while we crack on with that. It's a pie all soldered now, so it all looks good. It's all soldered, so now what's left to do is to pull this blue tack off. So we'll just pull them off like so, and then that's it. This is soldered in place, and then just finally to give it one clean off with some IPA and a toothbrush to make sure there's no flux residue. Now speaking of flux, I just want to raise something here. Now this is the flux I use all the while, this Antec stuff. It's like a greasy flux, whatever it is, apply one syringe. Now that I find is absolutely brilliant. So I ran out of this the other week, like I say, and I ran out of this on Amazon. I couldn't find it on Amazon, and I bought some of this stuff here. This Flux RF800, which is like, it's got a little brush and it's liquid, but I tell you what, it is nowhere near as good as this stuff. If you're doing soldering, buy this, I'd say. I would not recommend this to anybody. I know some people do use it and I see them using it, but maybe I've had a bad batch or something. I cannot use this stuff. It doesn't work for me, so it's just going to go to one side. The Amtech stuff, yes, every time it works. I just wanted to get that in there because it has been quite annoying me recently. So what we're going to do now is go back to the Amiga and get the PISTORM installed. Okay, so we're back on the Amiga. What I need to do is just take this apart quickly. Now, it's all in pieces anyway, so it'll come apart very quickly. There you go, like I said. Now, I do need to repair this wire here quickly, so we'll just get some blue tack. Or Smurf poo. Why do I keep calling it blue tack? Because that's the proper name. It's called Smurf poo. And we'll just solder this quickly onto here. So that's now soldered into place. That's that bit fixed. That's nice and easy, wasn't it? That's it, finished. No, mate, honestly. Right. Next, let's install the PISTORM 600. Now it sits over the CPU, which is here. Let's try to zoom in a bit closer, which is, you can just read it there. And the Motorola 68000. Now it's different to the ones in the 500 Plus. They changed the design in these ones to make the smaller board, etc. So what we need to do is just slot this on. See this square slot? That slots directly over the top, just like so. So line it up and push it down. That will make some unsightly noises. Do not worry about the unsightly noises. It's normal. Nothing's breaking, believe me. Honestly, well, I think it isn't anyway. So next, you've got the PISTORM. Well, the Raspberry Pi. What you got to remember is, you can see this writing here. If you can read this, your Pi is upside down. That means, basically, you can put the Pi in the wrong way around, which would be that way. don't do that and power it on. You probably blow the bloody board and blow the Pi. Now, the 02 and the other Pis, they always fit facing the back, so it'll slot in this way, like so. So, that's all fitted, easy as pie. So, what we're going to do next is prepare the SD card, and to do that, the first steps we have to do on the PC. So, join me for a bit of DOS magic, and we'll get that sorted. I'm using a 16GB micro SD card, and also some kind of device for reading it in your computer. Now this I just shove into there like so, and then I can plug that into USB and it should detect it. So what we have here is Windows command prompt. Now we have to run this as administrator. See how it says administrator along the top here? Make sure that is selected, and to do that all you got to do is when you get your command prompt, right click, run as administrator. It's as simple as that. Now the first command you want to type is called diskpart. So you load that and you'll be presented with this screen. Now be careful here, because if you select the wrong disk you can accidentally wipe your OS etc and make your computer unusable. So just be careful what you do, okay? So the very first thing you want to type is list disk. So you list that, and you can see now these are all the disks that are online. And you can see I've got the 232 gig ones and the 238. Now they're my main hard drives, but disk 4 is 14 gig. That is basically the 16 gig SD card I put in there. So what I need to do is type select disk 4. It will say disk 4 is now selected. Now type the command clean. Now that has just wiped that whole disk clean. Okay, now if I type list partition, and it'll say there is no partitions on this disk to show. So what we need to do is create some partitions. So the first partition we need to do is for the MU68 software. So if you type in CRE, which is for create, part, which is partition, PRI, size, equals 200. Now that'll make a 200 meg partition, which is plenty big enough for the software. You don't want to go any bigger, because apparently after 260 it doesn't like it, so I always keep it around 200 meg. Next we need one for Amiga Workbench, so we're going to change that to 500 meg, because it's Workbench, but then you need to put ID equals 76 for the Amiga ones. So there you go, that's all done. Same again, you can press the up arrow key in the keyboard and you'll get the following commands you typed, so you can scroll through them, etc. So we'll do a next partition again for 500, so that'll make like 2 hard drives. And then the last one, we shall just delete this. So we're going to have 1 hard drive for Workbench, another hard drive for games, and then the rest of the space can just be 1 massive hard drive for throwing anything on, basically. So to do the rest of the hard drive, all you got to do is to type ID equals 76. So all we've done, I need the equals 76. So all we've done there is we haven't put a size in, so it'll just create a partition off the rest. So again, if we type in list partitions now, or list partition, I don't know why it doesn't say S, it makes more sense. You can see now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 partitions. Now, number 4 partition here is the active partition. Now, we don't want that. We need to type in select part 1. I've put the asterisk on the end, didn't I, by mistake? So, partition 1 now. So, if I do a list partition again, now the asterisk has moved to partition 1, which now makes that the active partition. So now there's only a few more commands to do. All we need to type is assign, and it'll ask you now to pop up, and you can click format disk, and you can click, make sure you click FAT32 there, and the volume label you can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it MU68, and I'm just going to quick format that, and it'll say blah 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 and go through format complete or done. So all we need to do now is exit out of this. Now this is the web address here, GitHub Myco MU68 release nightly. So what I need to do here is I will put this link here into the description below in case you need this. And what you need to do now is to download the software. Now there's different softwares here starting from September 2023 all the way up to January. Latest one was January the 14th. So what you want to make sure is you download the right one. You got PISTORM 32 Lite, which are for the Amiga 1200 version. And what we need for the 600, 500, etc. is MU68 PISTORM. So I'm going to go to the last version, which is this one here. And we're going to download that. So just click on it. It'll download. See it downloading here in the corner. Excuse my slow internet. Now what I like to do now is to show in folder. And we can copy that. We'll open the MU68, we will paste it into there, and we will extract here. So that's the software now for the PISTORM installed. There's only a few little things we need to do on the PC. We need to go and config here and just check right at the bottom here. See how it says kick.rom, kick.rom. You have to make sure you load your ROM on here now. Now, I've downloaded my ROM. I've got version 3.2 because I actually own a legit version 3.2, a legit copy. So this would have been named at something like A600 3.2.rom. Okay, so all I'm going to do is rename and call it kick.rom. It's as easy as that, and that's now ready to go into the Amiga and be powered on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to boot Workbench and we're going to install Workbench onto the machine. So join me again in a minute with the Amiga. So we're on the Amiga Workbench here. It may be a bit laggy, but at least you can see what I'm doing, hopefully anyway. I'm trying this new video grabber I've got, so it goes through the SCART and then converts to HDMI. So let's see how it goes anyway. So what we need to do is to boot from your install. Now I'm using install 3.2. So what I've done, I jerry-rigged a GoTech into it just for now to get it working. So after that, you open the install disk and you get this. Next, you need to open the HD Tools. Is to go to HD Toolbox, right click on it, icons, information. Okay. Now this will come up. And see this one here? We need to edit this. Edit this line to say equals brcm dash sdhc dot device. So you got that. So it's brcm dash sdhc dot device. Dot. And my dot key isn't working that good. Dot device. Okay, now what you do is click save. Make sure you type it right first. SDHC. SDHC. I'm going to put a link down to where you want to go anyway for the information anyway, so you'll be fine. So what we do now is we simply just click save. And it should go out. Now when we run this now, we should be able to see the SD card partitions that we created before. There you go. Now the first one we don't want to touch because that's a FAT32. But these ones here, we do want to touch. Now this, what happens with me before, they should show up partition drive, but for some reason they don't with me. So what I did, I went to change drive type, and then I went define new, and then I clicked this button here, and continue, and that was basically detect them. Okay, and we can change the drive name here to what we want to drive it, like say HD1. Okay, HD1. Sounds good, yeah? Hard drive 1. So, OK that. So we'll just OK that again. And it'll say continue. So that's next. So we'll do the same again for these two. So now we can go to the first one here. My mouse is playing up, sorry. And click partition drive, and it'll try to do 2 partitions. What you can do is just delete that partition and then drag this one up to the full size 500 meg, or roughly 492, and then press OK. Well, I want this one to be bootable as well because this is the first one, okay? So make sure this box is clicked bootable. So we just OK that one. Now the next one, we can do partition drive. And this one doesn't have to be bootable. Again, we'll do the same again. We'll delete that partition. And we will just raise this to this size here, which is 492 meg again, and OK that one. The last one, partition drive again. We don't want it bootable. We want to delete that partition and then just drag it to the full size, which I think is 12 gig or 14 gig. Some big partition for an Amiga. Okay, so now if we save changes to drives, and the last one didn't change for some reason. I don't know why that is. I suppose we can sort that later. And just go exit. Continue. Now we need to restart the Amiga. So we're back on the workbench. For some reason, my GoTech is marked as DF1. I don't know why that is, but also these hard disks don't look right. They're sort of like hieroglyphics or something, so I don't quite know what's going on here. Obviously it's the first time I've done it, so I'm just going to have a go and try and format this one anyway. So we right click and go to tools, icons, and format disk, and we can name this workbench. So let's just try this, workbench. Okay, so we'll just quick format it. Fast file, long file names. Quick format. Okay, format. Do you really wish to format? Format. Oh, there you go, it's corrected that gibbly thing, hasn't it? So we'll format these now as well, so we'll do this. So there you go. We now have a working hard disk, okay? So what we need to do now again is to run the install. So it looks like it's installed. So what we need to do now is try a reboot, obviously, and just see what happens. So here goes nothing. Let's hope it loads this time. So what have we got? We got a blank screen. Suppose it's better than nothing. Oh, there you go. So looks like it's working. We've got access to the hard drives. We've got the nice new glow icons. We've got the storage. So all we need to do now. So I've just stuck SYSinfo on a disk so we can run it now. So hopefully we should be able to open it and run it and see how fast this is actually running. Let's just expand that out a bit. And hopefully it should be in here. Which is probably this one here. Did it run? There you go. So what I could do now is to go to speed. And it should show the speed that this is actually running at. So, yeah, that is crazy. If you look here, it's a standard A1200 running at 465. So it is running here, and this one is running this. So we're running 465 times faster than A1200. The A600, which we were running before, we're running 1,070 times faster. So it's just a no-brainer. Such a good thing this is. I mean, it changes the Amiga. So as you can see there, that is a mega increase in speed. So we're just going to quit that anyway. And before I go and close this video off, what I did do is with this, you can run something called, what was it called now? CaffioneOS. A CaffioneOS, which is totally different again, but you need a PISTORM to run it. So I had an image of this before when I first bought the PISTORM. So I'm just going to boot it up so it can show you how it looks. So just bear with me. I'll be there in a minute. So I'm just about to turn it on. Now to run this, you need to run through the HDMI signal. So you can see there now, this is through the HDMI on the PISTORM. So we've got this loading up now, and hopefully it should load CaffioneOS. I don't know what it's doing. Book test completed. Oh, there you go. Took its time, but there you go. There's CaffioneOS. You can see it looks a lot more modern. Obviously, it hasn't come through perfect, but see if we can change the resolution a bit to get it fit a bit better. Doesn't make any difference, does it? There you go. But I can't quite get it fitted on the grabber, but you can see here how it runs. And there's all sorts of stuff on here. I'll go to stuff here and videos, for example. You got AVI, so let's just run a video. Believe it or not, this is running now on an A600. Look at that. That's great, isn't it? Who'd have thought you'd be running videos on an A600? So we can close that. And we've got emulators and games, ADFs, demos. There's all sorts of stuff on it. I do want to play with this one day. Let's just say games. What have we got in here? I'm struggling to read this, sorry, because of the way things are. But emulators we've got. Oh, there you go. Well, Scum BM virtual machine. Scum's great in it. So let's just try. Is that games? Scum there? So I run that, do I? And there you go. Look at all these here. Some of these games never came out on the Amiga. I know Full Footer didn't, but I don't think that'll work anyway. But say Day the Tentacle. Let's just see how that runs. You can see there now. It's running nice and fast, and that's on the Amiga 600 as well. So it's an amazing thing, if you ask me. I'm really happy with that. I'd love to see the 1200 version running one day, because obviously that's going to be a lot better. So, such a good game this was, Day of the Dead to go. Makes you want to play these games again. So, hopefully you made it to the end of the video. This is my news section, etc. Now, I've been ill for a few days, so if my voice sounds a bit hoarse, then that's why I apologise for that. I'm finally recovering now, so all good. Yesterday, I went to the Amiga show in Sheffield. Now, it was a 2-hour drive over the Peak District. It was very foggy. There was those little low walls. There was derelict buildings around. It looked like a scene out of Diablo, if you remember Diablo. Now, I went there with my friend Anders again. I mean, we love these Amiga shows, and I can't recommend them anymore. So, pop along to next Yorkshire Amiga Meet Group. They're amazing thing. I picked up some things there. I picked up a 328 for my CD32, so I'll be doing a video on that soon. I've also had some other machines as well. I've got this one here, which you can all recognise. Yes, it's an A1200 at last, so this will be my own purpose Amiga, so this will be done for the Amiga shows. I am going to visit the West Midlands Amiga show next time in Telford, which is not very far from me, so that's a great bonus. Again, like I said before, we got the Macintosh on the way, which is over here on my shoulder. And there's plenty more stuff coming. So if you're new here and you made it to the end, thanks a lot. And please hit that like and subscribe button. I never ask you to start. I always like you to watch the video and see if you like it. I'm still relatively new to this. I'm just a year old, so I'm a newbie at YouTube, but I'm trying my best. It's taken a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of work. But if you are here, comment down below as well. Even if it's just to say hello or to comment what I did wrong in the video. I probably did do some things wrong as usual. But that's about it for now. So I'll see you next time on Retro for You. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.